Test 1, 2, 3. Is this working? Ah, okay. There we go. Just gotta switch my input. Okay. Yep, and this is why we test the stream every time to make sure that it works. Okay, so now that we have sound, welcome to part 7 of TylerMakes, the series about making a game in Corona SDK. As always, you can get the code over here at GitHub/TylerMakes/Bulbasaur. Again, that name is just temporary, just so that we don't get too attached to a name that we can't use in production. But anyway, where we left off, we were building a map editor, and the plan was to have this neat little save dialog where we can put in a file name and then save it to there, and then load from the list of files, and yeah, then once you can save and load your levels, we would go through and start building levels and all that jazz. So that's where we're going to pick up from today. So please do check it out. So the whole thing is that I left off kind of in a bad place. Unfortunately, I ran out of time. But today we should be able to get through all of this, and then we're going to start on like actually making maps. That's going to get into interesting stuff where we may get into a portion where a lot of this is just content generation, in which case I will probably just talk about what I'm trying to do and focus less on actually programming. But we'll see. We'll see if we get there. Anyway, so I left off. This is kind of where the code was. I commented out some things so that the code I checked into GitHub was actually working. It turns out that I had a little problem where I was trying to do this, which is that when you touch our accept button, so this is, if you're looking at this, you put in a file name, you have an accept button and a cancel button. I was running into this issue where our accept was not working. It was hitting this function, but it was not hitting this function, which is what we wanted, self-accept, which is down here. The problem is that I made another function, which presumably I was going to call this one cancel, but because I hadn't named it, what happens is when this executes, it sets up bulb file name pop-up accept function to be this, and then it immediately overrides it with an empty function. So of course it looked like it wasn't working, when in fact it actually was. So it was just pointing to the wrong function. So I did a little research and actually it was when I started up and was getting ready that I realized that, like, oh hey, why are there two accept functions here? So it's, sometimes it's good to take a little break from your code and come back and see what you were doing wrong. So that should be the case. We're gonna go ahead and restart this bad boy and see if that's working. And accept. Hey, there we go. Remember, we went through here and added this label just because we wanted text that was actually there. Didn't need that. Here, we just wanted the file name. Now we've got the file name, and it's all working. We're going to go ahead and rig up cancel at the same time, because we might as well. That's actually the easy one, because it doesn't have to do anything. And we'll make sure that this all works, and we can get rid of this. I was doing this whole thing where I was trying to work around the closure, but I knew this should have been working, and I should have realized that the accept was the problem. Anyway, here we go. So here's canceling, accepting. Here we're just going to print that we're verify that works. I'm sorry if I sound kind of sickly and I'm using tissues. I am kind of sickly, so hopefully that doesn't detract too much from your listening experience. I like to think it gives me a smokier voice. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So canceling works. Great. No, wait. Did that work? Yeah, successfully canceled. Great. Okay. Let's get rid of these. And what we want to do is actually just close that dialogue when that happens, which is actually this entire dialogue, our pop-up. Where are we launching our pop-up from? Oh, I also took last week off. I was away at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I may have picked up something there, since there are a million children about, and children just carry sickness. But anyway, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is amazing. If you haven't been there, go check it out. It's literally like stepping into a different world. And there's something like about video games that just made me feel like it's the same thing I love about great video games, is that they bring you into a whole different world with its own set of rules, and that's the real fun. Okay, what are we doing? Build store, UI, we're popping a file name pop-up. Where is that bad boy? File, here we go. Clear file pop-up. This is what we're gonna want to happen when this triggers. So when we create our file pop-up, we're gonna register a listener. We're gonna call this close pop-up. We're gonna call it this. I work in so many different languages. So this is what is it called? It's sometimes called like Python case or something. It's named after some language. I don't remember which one it is. But underscores are snake case, because it kind of looks like a snake because it goes down and up and down. And then yeah, this is I think this is camel case. This, with all the first names capitalized, is like Python case or something. I don't know. But I sometimes mix that stuff up. You should definitely oh, you know what? Maybe we can just use clear file pop-up. You should definitely stick with one thing, and only change your format if you have to. Throughout your code, like, I mean, different code bases, follow what the code base is, but you should have standards, so that like differences in the way that you define something, like if you do it in camel case or whatever, actually have meaning, as opposed to just typing names at random and stuff, and not having any rhyme or reason to it. It seems like an obvious thing, but you will see many code bases do not follow standards. And it's really frustrating when you're looking through them and trying to figure out, like, is this, spelled differently or written differently for an actual reason, or if it was done just because that's what the person writing it did. Okay, so we want our event listeners, want them set up in the same way that we did the stuff. I could probably come up with actually, now that I think about that, I'm just trying to think if there's probably a fancy way that I could do this in Lua, where I could actually add these functions to this. I'm just thinking, like, I kind of want to try it out, so we're not copying and pasting in any of this stuff. but I'm not gonna do that just yet because I want to focus on getting this file name pop up. We'll try that stuff later. Oh look, I had already done it. Good job, me. So are we already adding event listeners around here? Ah, yes. Nope, that's on the UI, that's on the map. Yeah, this is the first one. Okay, cool. Clear file pop-up. Oh yeah. There we go. And let's do that one also when we're doing the loading file. Sometimes I have to look at my own code for a minute to remember how it works. Which is not great, but I mean, it happens inevitably with all your code. Once you've written enough code and you've gone through enough code bases, you will eventually forget how you did every single thing. Which is why it's good to follow standards and make clean code so that even if you are looking at it years and years later, you can still follow what the heck is happening. Okay, so we called this clear file pop-up. And save it. See, this is where naming conventions come in handy because we are doing something where we're just dispatching the event and we're calling the method with this name. So if we didn't follow standards, you know, this wouldn't be referencing this name, and then we'd be in trouble, wouldn't we? Okay, let's go try it out. Oh, I need to move this over. Okay. And save dog. Oh, what do we screw up? File name pop up 94. Ah, I bet it doesn't have an events. Yep. We have an events object on these. Really sorry about the coughing. I should remember. Yeah, I have a button. Oh, that's no good. Huh. Evidently the button that I use to mute my mic also just throws garbage in here. I'm not even sure what this does. In any case, it's not something that we want to happen. So I apologize if I cough at all. I'll try to do it away from the mic, as well as mute it, especially if I'm over here. No, yeah, so the muting works. Anyway, enough about my sickness, and cancel. Oh, it's not working. Is it giving us an error? No, it's not giving us an error. Sad. Self-dispatch events. Clear file pop-up. Let's try this. Nope, we're in a different language. Gotta remember. Save. Hey, it says clearing file pop-up. So that's interesting. Oh, you know what? Does this not have a remove self? No, it does. Is it not removing itself? We're gonna do this. Let's verify that that works before we spend a lot of time doing anything else. Wait, let's try that. Ooh, it says clearing file pop-up. Right at the outset. So maybe there's something wrong here. File pop-up. Clear file. Oh, wait. Yes, we call it here before we launch it. That's totally cool. in there. So let's see what's happening. Dispatch event. Oh, haha. Oh, if we're gonna dispatch an event, we actually need an event, not just some random text. There's a name. Oh, also these should be local. When you make objects in Lua, I believe everything is global unless you make it local. So whenever you're defining a variable just anywhere, you should be putting local on it. Let's not forget that. Oh yeah, we don't have any data to go with this. I don't think that matters. So let's save that. Okay. Nothing is happening. Oh, yep. Let's actually write the code we mean to write. Hey, there it goes. Nice. We removed it. Good job, us. And hopefully there's no memory leaks because we are actually removing everything. We eventually might want to check for that. Hopefully we will get to that point. Hopefully, you know, theoretically, we get to that point and we don't have any issues to worry about, but just in case. Yeah, this is something I was testing with, I believe the name view is where we put in the file, and this is a native text field, and there was some nonsense around deleting it, something where it wasn't getting deleted when it was supposed to, but I don't remember those details, so I'm not going to worry about it. But this was something I was cleaning up code after last stream, so sorry about that, that I did not stream those details, but I'm pretty sure there was just something where I misnamed something, or I probably missed this, and so the name view wasn't getting removed when I called remove self. Okay, anyway, so bam, cancel works, which also, as you'll note, should work on our load dialog. Yes. So now all we need is our accepting button to actually work. So let's figure that out. We don't need this anymore. And down here, accept, we've got our new name. That's great. So now we just need to save a file by name. And so now we're going to dig back into our saving code, our saving container. So there's a couple things. One of the things I was thinking about is that we could, I mean, I guess we don't even care what the file type is. It's going to save it as a text file. You know, however we, or actually, I think it just is going to save it by the file name, and it's just data, so it doesn't really even care what that file is. So we can put whatever file name we want. I'm going to leave it to the person who's naming the file to name whatever they want. I myself am going to use text. Okay, so let's go look at our save file. We have our data, our file name, and our directory. Here, this defaults to the document directory, like I said before. Oh, that was weird. Sorry. It looked like the mouse cursor just got really big. I don't know if I did something cool to do that. Anyway, sorry. If there's no directory specified, and there's a set of Corona directory types, let me go look those up real quick, because I think there's like a system directory. There we go. Show you what I'm looking at. Resource directory. So base directory, resource directory. It's generally a default directory if none is decided. So there's a couple different directories. There's a resource directory, I guess. There's a documents directory. I don't remember which ones are which. They're probably in here. Yeah, here we go. I thought there was a nice rundown here somewhere about which directory is which and why you'd use them. I mean, obviously, like, hey, you don't want to use temporary directory for your map files. But yeah, there's good reasons why you would and wouldn't use documents or resource directory. We're going to use documents directory because that's what I figured out before, and I don't remember why. I'm pretty sure resources directory is where like all these assets will live, and you don't want to like mess up like your maps that are, you know, not a part of the system with those. And I think like if you update it, you know, that's where things come into play, where it will or won't override files in those directories. So yeah, just something to be aware of. But for this, we're going to save it in the documents directory. That'll be fine. We're going to encode the data. That'll be great. So now we just need the actual data that we want to save. Let me think about this. So we're going to click save. You're going to get a file name. What we want to do is we want to save the file name that you've chosen, so that if you click save again, it's got that file name so that you can just save over it. And yeah, as I mentioned before, we're not going to have a knowledge of our file list. So I'm actually, when I save this file, I'm going to save two files. I'm going to save the actual map, but I'm also in the our game settings file going to save a list of the map files so that we can get it later. And we'll print that out somewhere. I'm just realizing there is a lot to do here, so I'm trying to put it all together in my head and think about where we're going to go. Okay, so got a file name. Why don't we just return that? And we'll call it save file name, the event. And we're going to send that back. That's great. We have a save file. Actually, we're going to call this file name event because this is both our saving and loading dialog box. So it's just a file name event. Great. Okay, so now in our builder, let's go add this event. Let's get it. It's called file name. Great. Let's put a little note here. Oh, that's not how you do comments in Lua. There we go. That's good. Now we want to actually call clear pop-up because we don't. Once you've selected a name, you know, we want to clear the pop-up. We could go and add like the whole would you like to save over this file dialogue and all that, but we're not going to go that far. This is a simple tool. Hey, that just did it again. I swear I'm not going crazy. There's something in the Mac that'll make the mouse cursor appear larger. Anyway, sorry. Ah, see, there we go. I wonder, what am I doing that does that? Huh. Interesting. Anyway, oh, it's like something with like if I leave it stable and then I shake it. I don't know. So weird. Okay. So we've got our file name. We're gonna clear the file pop-up because we're not, you know, this is just a simple tool for us. We're not gonna go into all the details of like making sure we don't save over files. Hopefully you don't do that to yourself. If you do find yourself doing that, then it's time to write the code to keep yourself from doing it. So we're gonna go with our saving container, which, let's go. Oh, by the way, oh, you know what? So I saw a stream where somebody was doing this really cool thing where it actually showed on their screen all their like button presses and stuff, which was pretty cool. I don't know. I'm using open broadcasting software, so I don't know if it does it. If anybody does know if it does it, and you want to let me know, that would be awesome, because I think that would be helpful, so you could see when I press on different keys. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of like, it's super cool. Let me see something. Media source. Okay, sorry. I was hoping to find that out now that I was just thinking about it. But anyway, yeah, if you know how to do that, that would be great. Because it's kind of hard when somebody does something and you have no idea how they managed to do it. I'm using Sublime, and Apple P opens a file list, and you can type stuff in and it will filter the list based on what you type. Super helpful. You know, like I used to, you know, rely on the structure of my repository to find stuff. I don't do that anymore. Like, I only do that when I'm encountering a new repository that I don't know. Once you know what file names are and stuff, it's in like generally what they're called, it's so much easier to just pop open this dialog and then say like map. Oh look, here's all this stuff with map. I want this one, you know? I really wish all other IDEs had that, because it's extremely useful. And one of the best parts is that in Sublime, it's actually implemented very quickly. So like it is a very fast dialogue to interact with, except for right now when I'm talking about it being fast. Oh, that's because I did some other random key combination. Anyway, so I just want to see this saving container. That's what we called it. So in our builder, where are we? I also have this habit of like, if I'm editing a file and then I go away and I'm looking at stuff and I come back and the file is not where I left it, a nice way to jump to it is Control Z, because then you can go, you can jump right to where the cursor is, and that's where you want to be. Okay, so we are going to save a file with data, file name. Oh crap, what was the file name? I'm just Control Zing back to when we had a file name in this dialog. Oh, maybe we don't. Okay, yeah, no, we don't, of course. Alright, let's put all that back. Let's go look at this. This had the file name, which we should probably put here. Let me Control Z that back to. Another nice thing that they have is Control Z is based on a given file. So if I'm in this file, it just Control Z's this file, because that's what I wanted to find, self.nameview.txt. There you go. Sometimes it's easier to just find stuff than it is to look it up. But yeah, it's like Sublime is a fantastically built IDE. The only thing that sucks is that, like, if you're doing C++ or whatever, the tools around it are not as great. Like, Visual Studio has all these debugging tools and stuff that are awesome and really, really useful. So, yeah, unfortunately you need that stuff. Okay, so we're just going to, for starters, just put in nonsense so that we can see that this is working. I just want to show you that this is working. So we're going to have event.filename. And we don't care what directory. So as you can see, here's the directory. It's optional if it's not there. We don't worry about it. So yeah, we don't need that. So we're just going to put in this map, which has nothing in it, at the file name, which this should be here as an event. And actually, let's use EVT. Event might be a keyword, you know, like function or local. You couldn't put function here as your parameter because it's keyword and that screws everything up. So EVT is probably safe, but there's something else wrong. Save file. What did we do wrong? Near, this is the map. What is the problem? Definitely missing something. It's probably something to do with how this object is constructed. Oh, you know what? Yeah. I'm too used to doing other languages. This needs to be an equal sign, not a colon. There we go. Okay. We're gonna go save, and we're gonna call this testmap.text, and then we're gonna hit save, and the dialog closes like we wanted. Hey, look, it said saving a file. Let's go find out if it did. So there's the sandbox. I believe that is what we want. This is the sandbox for when you run an app. You can see here all the names of like different apps that I've made. They're all, like I said, named after Pokemon. So there's Chansey, Mr. Mime, Pikachu, Weedle. Anyway, here's the sandbox files. Here's the documents. Here's that temp file that we don't want to put stuff in. And here's our test map, which if we open, why am I opening it with text edit? Hey, look, there it is, exactly what we had put there. Perfect, right? Let's quit text edit, that's nonsense, and let's open text files with Sublime. No, it's not going to give me an option. Well, that's weird. Oh well, worry about that later. So hey, look, there you go. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find this directory. I just want to get the path to this, and then I'm gonna open it in Sublime. This is annoying. Why does Mac give me this nice reader-friendly version of the path that is not going to help me when I'm trying to open a folder? Ugh. It's not what I want. I want this. I want you to just give me a path. It's not what I want at all. Nope, that doesn't work. We're not going to do that. Okay, here. I'm just going to have to navigate. This is super annoying. 1 second. Huh. They are hiding directories from me. That is going to keep me from actually navigating to the place that I want to navigate to, because it's hidden in applications folders. That's super dumb. Okay, here we go. Oh, I went to the wrong folder. Got it. Okay, applications, not in that. Oh, what the heck? Why is it being so dumb? There we go. Well, I was able to open the file. Please put it in there. Yes, there we go. Okay. No. Now can I go open? Here we go. Aha, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I just want to open this friggin' folder. That was such a pain. So we can do this, so that what I want is to see. Oh, was that not? Okay, here we go. It's in this one. Yeah, as we run this, it's gonna have different. It's gonna save in different documents, directories, and stuff as we build. I want to be able to open this up and just say like, hey, look, here's what this is. And look, we were gonna save map names, which we did not save this map name to. So let's go fix that real quick. I also, in the process, am going to find out if saving over this works. Okay, so saving container does that, but we also want to do this. So we have, like I said, we have our base saving container save, which saves our game data. And our game data comes from our game settings. Right now it doesn't come from anywhere. It's just an empty game data. But what we want is to put it in game settings and save it back. And then this normal save and load, which are not save by file, load by file, are just going to load from our base file locations. So to explain that, I have game data, which is where I store all, like I said, I store all the base game data, things that have to do with like in-app purchases you do or something, like just whatever, like I'm coming up with bad examples, but like let's say that you got to the 5th level in some game that I made. This is probably where I'm going to save it, and that way it's all, I know where it is. That might not be something good to share. I don't know if users actually can, like, with a jailbroken phone, can get to this. I don't really care, though. If people want to break their games and make it less fun for themselves, I guess go for it. And if they want to cheat developers out of in-app purchases, that's sad and unfortunate. Hopefully they don't do that. And hopefully you're not putting data in here that allows them to do that. But, yeah. Bad people are going to do bad things. That sucks. You can only do so much to protect against it. Anyway, that's that rant. Let's look at this. So we have this game data. We save it here. I believe in main, normally what I would do is, this is what I do. I'd go bulb, game settings. This is what you may have wondered about. I don't know if I kept that around. Oh, not bulb, build, bulb. Oh, I got rid of it. So normally I have a function here called build setup from data. That's what it is. And it looks like this. I just pulled this from one of my other games. But anyway, yeah, we build from game data, and so I like to have that. So what happens is, the saving container, if you call save and load, it means that you just want to save the game. And you want to save whatever the game data is. That's because we're going to call this like all over the place to say like, oh, you just picked up a fruit, save, so that it's saved in the file, so that if they quit and they load it later, hey, you've got that fruit that you just picked up, and it didn't just disappear into the ether. So what I do is, my normal thing is to save the stuff to game data, and then when I this is going to go bulb game settings dot let's call it get game data. And actually, I'm going to move that here. So this is something that normally I don't do, but we're going to do that here, is because what I want is, we're just going to put the base, whatever this game data looks like, we're going to put it here in bulb game settings. And I was just thinking there's like a nicer way I could do this to make it even more reusable. So why don't we just do that? We're going to put game settings here. We're going to go game settings equals game settings. And then we're going to do game set data. We're going to get the game data from game settings. And then this is going to go self dot game settings dot get game data. And then when we load, it's going to decode that. Yeah, this is even nicer. Why don't we just do this? Where we're going to go, when you load it, instead of saving game data locally, which, why would we even bother doing that? We don't even need that either. Let me think about this. So when you save, we're going to get the game data. Great. Save it, blah, blah, blah. And then when we're done, we're going to do self dot game settings. Let me think about this. Yeah, we're going to call setup from data. There might be some like actual setup. So the data might not be just, hey, take this data, save it, pull this data, put it back in. Like, you're not just going to have like, oh, the person has this fruit, it has 3 fruits, put that back in. You might have things like, I don't know, other things beyond that actually need setup. Some of my other games have this stuff. Here's a good example. Like, we want to like resort stuff to make sure it's sorted, or we want to load some files that's actually like more complex, like setting up the app. That's why we're actually gonna have this set up from game data. But what I did is I moved this game settings into here so that we can just do this saving container. We're just gonna pass it bulb game settings, and we're just gonna put a note here. Param must have get game data, and this is just a note to ourselves, set up from data, to just say, so in another programming language, you'd have interfaces, and interfaces would say like, hey, the public methods on this object are, set up from data and get game data. And this is just going to return game data. In other languages, an interface would do this. And then you do a thing here where you actually tell this that like, hey, I need an object with this interface that references these things. Lua doesn't have that. We're not going to worry about it. Just know that if you ever get into interfaces in other languages, they're the thing that says like, hey, whatever I'm passing here, it must have this function and this function. Otherwise, you can't use it. and we're going to throw an error. Or better yet, before you even build the file, it'll say like, hey, there's an error. This will not generate acceptable code. But we don't have that in Lua, so, you know, tough. So let's see. Let's just make this. Let's make sure that we can verify that this works. Save that. We're going to save the saving container, which is now going to save that stuff. We'll do this. I'm sure there's some kind of break here. Saving container 56 self dot game settings. Set up from data. I bet it's just not getting that file. Game settings and nil value. Uh-oh. Game settings, oh yes, we have to save this file over here. That should work. That'll load. Let's see what it got actually. It got a table with bad data. So what we want to do is let's go look at our. Ooh, what am I doing over there? Let's go look at our data here. So let's delete this file and this one, and then we're gonna rerun. Ooh, okay, cool. This is what we want to find out. Line 46 in both game settings. Line 46. Ooh, print. It's not getting map names. Okay, so let's step through this code and see what's going wrong. Okay, so we're gonna start. We're gonna load. Oh yes, this is why we had game data. Code. No such file or directory exists. What we want to do is go self.game settings, get game data. Bulb game settings, main data. Oh, yep. Let's see. Probably have broken stuff here. That's funny. Okay. We might be able to just reload. And yes, there we go. Hey, there we go. Nothing to see here. And it loaded it. Nothing to see here. Great. Okay. So that's our even nicer saving container. So now when I check in this code after this stream, you could just use this straight away. And all you need is a game settings function that has get game data and set up from data. And there you go. It'll just save all your game data and load all your game data. But you're going to want to do more interesting stuff with it. So let's continue doing that. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to do this. We're going to add map name. Oh yeah, I'm also going to make this an array with nothing in it. Oh wait, this is Lua. This is an array. An array is indistinguishable from not an array. Oh yes, I should not save half-written code. We're just gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna have to delete the game settings data again. This is something that happens a lot. It's like when you're first building it, you're gonna do a lot of like deleting your game data manually until you get this kind of format right. Once you have that, then you're gonna have it down, and it's gonna be easier to like you won't have to delete the game data every time you update. But anyway, so we're gonna give a name, and now what we want to do. So main data is gonna have map names. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to self names equals main data dot map names. This will make it so that here on game settings we have a list of all the map names. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of those, which now I have to remember. We're going to use this one. So here's an interesting thing. We can, when we save, load everything, right? Like, we could... So when I save a file, like I save a map, we could reload it into game settings. We could set it into game settings. There's a lot of different things that we could do. Actually, as I think about it, we're not even going to save it in the game settings, so never mind. Ignore what I just said. We're just going to focus on this. Okay, so self dot map names. So we're going to go through each map name. And if its name, let me think about this. Oh yeah, this is just going to be an array. So we're going to do, oh man, gotta remember all the things. Lua has such weird syntax. It is very hard to remember this. This is what is like so annoying to remember. I also don't know if I should be putting local I on that. Maybe they should have a local I. Somebody knows better than I. That would be great. Fill me in. Let me know. But anyway, yeah, this is just an array. So we're just going to iterate through each one in the length of the map names array. And then we're going to say if map names I equals name. That means it's already in there. Then we'll put overriding. So we have this variable that we're going to call overriding. So this is a variable where if we wanted to, and you're going to go add a map name, it can say like, oh hey, you're going to overwrite whatever is there. What we're going to use it for here is just to make sure that we don't re-add it to this map names if we don't need to. So if not overriding, then yes. I so want to use conventions of other languages. I have to remember how to do it. Blah. So yes, we're going to add the name to the end of the array. Great. Then we've added a map name, and when you add a map name, probably want to save. So we're going to go save in container. Save. Okay, so add a map name. Now back over here, we have selected a file name. We're going to save that file. That is our map. Let's do this as well. So that should save our map name, and that should save our map. Okay, so let's go see if any of this worked at all. As I said, we're going to delete our game data real quick to make sure that that doesn't interfere with us, and we're going to relaunch. Great. Okay, so now if you look at our game data, got an empty thing. Now we're going to save, or we're going to say test map, text, we're going to save it. Oh, failure. Game settings. Oh, that's because this is bulb game settings, isn't it? Oh, damn. Okay, relaunch. Let's see what the state of our data is right now. We didn't save the other file. That's good. This is still just an empty thing, so that's good. Let's put in our test map. Text. There we go. Hey, we saved. What happened? Hey, there's a test map. Game data. Oh, it's not in our game data. That's no good. Let's go find out why. Let's go print adding. Let's just see. We're gonna do bulb game settings, add map name. We got a file name. I equals 1 to the self map name length. Self map names equals overriding equals true. We're not overriding self map name plus 1 equals. I don't see anything wrong with this. Let's see what this is. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Oh, look at that. Adding test map 2. Overriding. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do, but whatever. No, it's adding at 1. Test map 2. Great. Oh, I know what. When we get our game data, map names needs to come from this. Self.mapNames, which means that we also need to actually have, we need to define the base value here. And of course that's going to break, but that's fine. Now we're going to go through and delete these files. And we're going to relaunch. Ooh, what are we breaking here? What is the error? Tell me what's going on. Oh, dang it. Continue. Okay. What went wrong, buddy? Well, let's do this. Easier time grabbing this. Okay. Runtime error. Yes. This is not how you do arrays in Lua. Okay. Let's make sure we didn't. Oh, we did save bad game data. Or maybe we didn't. Maybe it was just because I refreshed. Our initial game data looks correct. Okay. Test map. .text. Save it. Broken again. Line 43. Alright. Stop yelling at us. 43. Self.map names. What is the problem with that? Attempt to index local self nil value. Oh, yes. Self probably doesn't mean the same thing in this context, does it? Doesn't it? Get game data. Huh, I wonder what it's trying to call this. Saving container 10, game setting 64. So add map name goes into 64, says save. Line 10. Get game data. Ugh. Gotta use colon. Colon means it's coming from that object and not just calling that function. That is super annoying. Okay, here we go. Game data looks good. Save. Just keep making this test name shorter and shorter. Hey, look at that. And it's saved on there. Great. So now, now let's try this. We're gonna go map2.txt. Saved. Great. Now they're both there. Now, the real test. Let's override the one that we already have. Hey, nothing blew up. Everything's fine. Perfect. Okay, so now we have the ability to save our map. What we actually want to do is save the map. So we've got a map that we could cancel. So we can fill it with stuff. So let's fill this with stuff, and then we are actually going to save this to our file, and then we are going to load it. Sound good? Great. We've got plenty of time to do it. Okay. So we want to think about how we're going to do that. So we don't need the file name pop up. That was just to get the name. Don't need main anymore. What we want to do is go look at our map. Now the map is what we're going to save, and this builder needs to save the map. Called when a file name is selected. Ooh, we do need to know if we're loading or saving. I'm going to add that in right now. This is going to be our type of dialog. Where's our file pop-up? Oh, yep, we got to get back our file pop-up. Like I said, Apple P is the way to go to get through your files. So we're going to do type equals type, and then we're going to move that into this instantiation instead of the creation, which is fine. Doesn't make a difference really. Type. Now, when we actually, we're gonna call this action. Action is a better name for what this is. It's the action you're taking. Are you saving or are you loading? Okay, so now it's the action. Great. And then what we're gonna do here is say if action equals saving, then we're going to do this. Else if action equals loading, then print we're going to try to print that file name, and else is just to help us catch errors if we end up having them. Still broken? What happened here? Full builder line 86. Action. What is action? Action is event.action. And expected to close function at line 86. What did I start? I started function somewhere in here and did not close it. Did I miss something up here? Loading, saving? No. Oh, what What did I do? This can always be a little frustrating. Here, we're gonna make sure that I didn't mess anything up here. Save that. Relaunch. Great. Okay, let's go up here. Sometimes Lua isn't the most helpful, telling you where you messed something up. Just trying to comment out the files that I messed with. Using and expected to close. Oh wait, here, Lua 123. There we go. What did I do down here? 123. Okay. Oh, this need to be like else if. No, that doesn't make any sense. Because I could comment this whole thing out, and that was fine. Huh. Let's just try getting rid of that whole function. See what happens. Line 90. File name pop-up. Was I looking at the wrong file? Oh my god. Comma. Maybe I was looking at the... Oh, nope. Please be working. Okay, jeez. Sorry for that interlude of poor typing. Okay. So we make a new one. We're gonna go map.text. Save it. Bam. Got our map. Great. Now if I go load, put blah. Ooh, what's going on there? Oh, trying to load blah. Great. Regardless of what we're doing, we actually need to clear the pop-up. Load, blah. Hey, it closed it, but it told us it's trying to load, blah. Great. Okay, so we've separated loading and saving. That will be helpful for later. Now let's go actually save this stuff. Sorry, I'm distracted. This dude, Adam Saltzman, who does, he's working on, I think it's Overwatch, is that the right name of the game? Anyway, he posts great little GIFs or videos of stuff that's going on in the game. Sometimes it's distracting because it's fun stuff. Okay, so our saving. We have built our map, and now we're going to save, add our map name. Now we actually want to save our map. We want to save a real map. So, what do we need to do to get our map? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a bunch of helper functions on these things. So we don't have to do it like from this builder. We're actually going to do it from in those files. So as we change those files, hopefully we'll notice, and then we'll be like, we'll make it easier when we go to save and stuff. Well, yeah, as you change what you're saving, it'll be nice that if in these files you can easily see like, oh, if I just change this, I should change this map. So we should, like, you're like, oh, I should update the get save data because I just edited how this whole thing works. Oh yeah, we were gonna give it a name. That's nice. So why don't we start with that? The name is gonna come from the file. Actually, wondering if there's another, like, yeah, we'll give it a file name that's separate. This can just be helpful. So we're gonna give it a file name, which is its file name. It's great. Actually, so we'll go here, go like this. Function, bulb builder, get save data. And this is just going to return self.map, get save data. This is the pattern that we're going to follow throughout this entire thing, is basically, hey, get the save data from something inside this, and then return that save data with whatever manipulations you need to make. I don't think there's anything in here that we need to make a manipulation of, so that's fine. We'll just put save data. But here, what we're going to do is we're going to do save data equals self get save data, and then we're going to go save data dot file name equals our event dot file name, which is great. And then that is what we're actually going to drop here. Save data. Great. Okay, now in the map, what we want to do is, I don't know, maybe this, so here, let's get our save data. Make a new object, and then we're going to go save data dot map name equals self dot map. Right now we don't have map names. Maybe we'll name them later. Probably add that to the save dialog box or whatever. We'll figure it out. But we're going to save it anyway. And then what we care about is this. We are going to go dot layer. Oh wait. Whoop. Let me think about how I want to do this. We want to iterate through the layers and save all the layers. Currently, there's only one single layer. Yeah, why don't we worry about that later? We're just going to do this. We're going to give it a layers. And we're going to give it a layers 1. And then we're going to iterate through all that stuff, which is, this is how we can do it nice and easily. And what we're actually going to do is go this self layers blah 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 blah, put it over here, get the important save data, and on this side we're going to make it save data. See what we're doing there? So we're building, we're going to go through all the columns and rows, and we're going to, of the layers of the actual save data, which is each of these tiles, right? And then we are going to save that into our layers in our save data, and then we're going to return that save data. So that means going into our bulb forest tile, which actually I want to get rid of all this extra files. Okay, now here we go. Let's go to our forest tile. Bam. Let's get our save data out of here. Save data. Great. Now what are the important things to remember about this? We don't need to store the I and the J. That's already gonna come from here. We don't need to store the X and the Y either, because that is going to be, you know, where the UI is. That's like where the UI is built. That doesn't matter. Size likewise. Like these, unless this size started to be something like, oh, it takes up 4 tiles or something, you don't need it. Tile view. Tile view is the actual physical view representation. We don't need that. Harvest counter. So really, we just need our tile info. Do we need harvest counter? Oh, harvest counter is for harvesting stuff in our. Oh, that's interesting. Why is there a harvest counter on this guy? There shouldn't be a harvest counter, and there is no harvest view. Because this is in the forest. The forest does not have things to harvest, although that makes me think about, it would be interesting if the forest did have stuff to harvest. Maybe we will add that later. But for now, we do not need it. So let's get rid of that. What we care about is tile info. And what the hell is the tile info? It's got a color. Let's go look at our map. Create tile info. I guess tile info is just, oh yeah, it later gives you the color. It really is just the color, isn't it? It's just when we place a tile. Let's just save the entirety of the tile info. Let's just do that. We're just going to return self.tile info. That's what we care about. Do we care about state? Oh yeah. Huh. State is not used here either. So let's go ahead and delete that, because that was for the harvesting stuff. Okay, so self.tile info. Great. I think that might be good. Let's go save a map and find out. So we're going to drop some seeds, some trees. Now we're going to save. Map.text. Oh, it broke. Where did it break? Line 40. Save data, layers, self layers, get save data. Get. No, we didn't call it get save data. Gotta follow them standards. Alright, relaunch. Let's see it. Oh, no, let's actually put something down so that it feels like something's going on here. Trees. Okay. Map.text. Bam. Alright, let's see what happened. Whoa, look at all that data. Is it the right data? I don't know. Let's take a look. So first, there's a lot of nulls. Why are there a lot of nulls? Oh, there are a lot of nulls because these don't have, these brown ones don't have game data. That's fine. Who cares? That's actually what they are. Like if we passed in null here to this tile info, it would do exactly what we would expect, right? Yes, see, here we go. If tile info, if it's a null, it's just not going to do anything, which is exactly what we want. So there we go. Okay, so now we just need to load, and then everything's golden. We're done. Ship it. Just kidding. But here we go. So the loading is the saving means nothing if you don't load. You're like, oh cool, I saved a bunch of data out. Oh, as I should mention, this saving container is converting it to JSON. And like I've mentioned before, JSON looks very similar to the way Lua automatically defines an object. So if I were just going to make an object, I just need to find one of our events. There we go. Here we go. So when I define an object here, it follows this very syntax, this bracket says this is the start of the object. This one says it's the end. We have a name. We put the name in there, and then we have values, and like this name equals that. So this, like if you go select event, select tile event dot name, you will get place tile. Same with the X and the C. They have the equals. The difference with JSON, and the reason I kept putting in colons instead of equal signs, is that JSON uses a colon instead of an equal sign, and it also puts quotes around these the names. But outside of that, oh yeah, and then arrays are different. Arrays actually use the array brackets. Outside of that, it's pretty identical to Lua's definition of an object. But anyway, if you go and look at our saving container, we are using the JSON library, which Corona has, to convert this data into JSON, and then it outputs it. So that's all well and good. Next, we just need to load. So yeah, so if you're wondering, like, how did this fancy code end up here, it's because we are doing this encode and decode in JSON, which I think I mentioned in the last stream, but maybe not. So that's what that is. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, or load it, which I've said 3 times already now. Okay. Why am I not seeing our load file? File name, load, there we go. Okay, so what is going to happen when we load? What are these steps? First, we want to go bulb game settings and see if that file even exists. Which actually, you know, maybe not. Maybe we don't even, like, we could do the check ourselves, but why don't we just actually let load file let us know? Maybe. What does load file do if it fails to get the contents here? Oh yeah, so if it's failed, true, then it just returns. If it's a failure, it returns failure. Yeah, that's fine. Why don't we just use that? So what we're going to do is we are going to go to saving container. We are going to load our file. We just need to give it a file name. And the directory, which again defaults, so we don't care about giving it a directory. And then what we're going to do, so this is going to return data. So we actually want to go like this. Loaded data. If that loaded data is incorrect, so if it's a failure, okay. Otherwise, we're going to do stuff. I don't know what we're going to do just yet. We just want to make sure that this works. Okay, so we save. Great. Let's put in blah, which I don't think exists right now. Great, failed to load data, because there is no such thing as blah. If we go load and we go to map.txt, enter. Hey, success! We succeeded. Now we just have to do that. I'm gonna get rid of this clearing file pop-up. We know what it's doing. We know it's working. So we know that it fails when it fails. I'm gonna put a little note here. And now we want to load the data. So now we want to generate our map from the data. So first what we're going to do is we're going to remove our previous map. What I'm going to do actually here, so I'm going to take this, so this clears our map, right? We're going to put it here. And then we're going to have remove self call these functions, clear file pop up, and remove map. And that way, if we have to do something special while we're removing a map, hey, remove self will do that too. And then you don't have duplicate code. It's always good to not have duplicate code. Oh no, what did I just screw up by saving that? Oh, it's probably this, because this is not actually doing anything. Okay, so first we're going to go self, remove our map, and then we're going to say self, we're going to call it load map from data, and then we're going to pass it loaded data. Now we're going to go write that function. Load map from data. Oop. Gotta remember to put in our class name. Load map from data. Great. And we have the data here. And then we're going to go map equals. How do we do it normally? Normally, when we create our map, we do this. Go to width, height, rows, columns, and we create full display group. You know, actually, so I did remove the map, but you know what? Let's not do that. Let's let the map remove it itself. We're gonna load map from data. We're just gonna let the map do that. We're gonna go like this: self.map. The reason why is I don't want to rebuild it, which means that we have to then get this code right here where we calculate this stuff again. This stuff is not going to change. In fact, like, you could basically hard code this once you've gotten it. But yeah, this stuff is not going to change. Like, the only way this would change is if you loaded a map on a different screen. But that also even wouldn't matter because, like, the width and height of this are actually handled by Corona because we are using the Corona scaling. So, sorry. So none of this is going to change. Yeah. I just don't want to have to do that again and attach it to the display group, blah, blah, blah. We're actually, because all that loading a different map is going to do is it's going to replace all the items in the map, we're just going to let the map handle that. Later, it's going to get more interesting when we actually have, I don't know, like stuff that moves around the map that we're going to actually have to get rid of and then create new ones and stuff. But I think we can deal with all that later. It'll be fine. I don't think it'll actually change this. So we'll get rid of this function that we don't need. Self.map, load map from data, great. Save that. Now let's go look at our map. So this is what we're gonna do. Alright, function. Builder map. Load map from data. Now we've got our data. Great. So what this is actually going to look like is very similar to our save data. So let's put it next to our get save data. So that will help us. So what are we going to do? Of course, we have to go self.mapName. So it's basically just the reverse of this function. So map name equals data.mapName. And then what we're going to do is, again, these rows and columns aren't going to change, so I'm just going to reuse those. If you wanted this to be smarter, like this self.columns would actually just be based off of like the number of layers in the saved data and their number of eyes and stuff. Like you could reverse it so that it all is based off the actual data. But because I know these are going to be the same in every case, I'm just not going to worry about it. But yeah, you should think about that. If the case that you're building requires that, then yeah, you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to actually calculate these rows and columns. So we're going to iterate through each row and column. We are going to remove that guy, set it to nil. We're actually going to do exactly what this place tile is doing. So why don't we just go ahead and put place tile in there. We're going to go place tile. Our I and our j come from there, and then our tile info is of course data dot layers 1 I j. So super simple. It's gonna load it right from there, and it's gonna place that tile because we already got this handy dandy function to write over it. That's our layers, and that's our whole thing. That's it. Look how quick that was. Now, assuming we didn't break anything, when I go in here and do map.text, should get that funky thing. Oh, totally broke something. Spoke too soon. Alright, what do we got here? Runtime error. Attempt to call method place tile a nil value. Place tile? Oh, we're not doing it on the individual. That's silly. We are doing that from self. Relaunch. Oop. Boom. Hey! We got something. That does not look like what I drew before. I don't think. But it's really hard to tell. So we're going to go ahead and reload this. We're going to do this, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just trying to put some very particular things around. Okay, so look at this. It's definitely a thing that exists with a bunch of different colors. Okay. Alright, so we're going to save that as test1.txt. Cool. I'm just realizing I need a clear button to clear this out. But anyway, let's memorize what that looks like. We're going to reload. That's our current hacky way of clearing. And then we're going to do the same thing again with a bunch of different colors. Some kind of pattern that we can tell is the thing that works. I'm always afraid when I just randomly put in stuff that I'm gonna like accidentally put in something that's horribly offensive to somebody. So if I do that, I am terribly sorry. Know that I'm just doing this as I do. Ooh, that's annoying. We're gonna have to. So there's a thing that you can do to keep clicks from happening. But so look, if I go, we're in the blue pattern, and I go save, and then I hit cancel. See how I put a blue square there? We're gonna have to deal with that later. We're not going to deal with it just yet. First, we're going to test that our loading works. Test1.txt. Oh, no dice. Like half the stuff is here. And now let's go try test.2. Oh, heartbreaking. Now I'm going to go to load test.1 today. And you might be wondering, why am I going to load this again? Well, the question is it the same stuff that always loads? That's what I'm trying to ascertain. Yep, same stuff. So it does mean that it is saving something, it is loading something, but it is not saving and loading everything. And so now the key is to find out why. Why is it not saving and loading everything? But first, I'm going to fix that problem of clicking save or cancel and having the button actually click through and do something, which is not what we want to happen. And there is a way to keep that from happening. And the way to do that is to go into our UI. Whoop. Not add garbage. Oh, dang it. I'm just hitting random keys. It's a problem with keyboard shortcuts. If you hit the wrong one, you might be doing something you really don't mean to do. Okay, so let's go into our UI. And select tool. Nope, that's not what we want. We want our file name pop up. There we go. Okay, so our touch event. When you click touch, it hits these, accept, cancel. And then I believe what happens is when you hit touch, it triggers a function. And there's something that you have to return on this function to cause it to say like, hey, I've handled all the input, don't do anything. It's not nil. I think it's true. It just says like, hey, I've handled the touch input, so everything behind this should not do the touch. There we go. Well, wait, no, that might not be right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, oh, that was hard to tell because I accidentally clicked through and then clicked it again. But yeah, there you go. So now it won't just automatically when I click through click the button behind it. Okay, so that's good. Now let's go find out why our file is failing. Now one of the things that I'm curious about is if there's too much data. Alright, so we got test 1 and we got test 2. These are markedly different sizes. So that's interesting to note. So what I want to do is this. Is there an easy way to figure out why are these empty? Alright, so we need to actually piece together what is going on here. So I'm going to make a new file so we can take a look at this data. Don't want to edit the data itself. Actually, let's start this way. Didn't mean to do that. We're going to delete those files. Actually, map as well. We don't need that guy. Oh, but that's going to mess up our game data. We also need a way to delete these out of game data. But for now, I'm just going to kind of actually, I could just delete game data. Just delete it all. Like I said, you're going to be doing that a lot until you get, the basics of your saving and loading done, and then you won't have to do that anymore. Okay, so let's try this. We are going to do seeds. Tree 1, tree 2, enemy 1. Now we're going to save it. Call this test1.txt. Save it. Blammo. Oh yeah, the whole reason I was getting the map names is to show you those later, like in the interface, but we're not doing that, but that's fine. Whatever, we'll save it for now. Okay, so let's figure out what went wrong here. So we're gonna load. We got nothing. Great. Okay, perfect. That's actually fine, because that will help us figure out what's wrong. So let's take this entire file, copy it, put it in here, and now we're going to break this down. There's actually some cool tools out there that do this. Unfortunately, I don't have one installed right now. But if you're looking for those, what they are is there's like JSON formatter tools that will actually take all your JSON and make it look all nice and pretty, so that you can easily step through it. So, okay, so here's this. Okay, it's item 1. Trying to figure out where this ends. Okay, so unfortunately we have to do this. I'm sorry this is going to be annoying, but yeah, this is what you have to do sometimes. It's the easiest way to actually figure out what this looks like. And now we're going to get comfortable with what our data looks like. So that we actually understand what's going on. And we can actually look at these maps and have some better understanding of what is happening. Although this is highly confusing, because that does not look correct to me at all. Okay, so this is an object. Oh, why does it look like... Okay, here we go. Yes, okay, that makes sense. Sorry. So whenever you're looking through anything with brackets, like, the key to do it is to find the closing brackets for something. So I'm trying to make a return here at each closing bracket so we can see where the brackets close. So this one closes here, right? And that, oh, and actually is something also that's really nice about Sublime is you notice, like, if I click here, it underlines the two connecting brackets. So this allows me to see, like, okay, what's going on here? Like, this object has an ID, it has a color, which its color is this stuff, and it's got a tile name, and that tile name is seeds. I'm actually just gonna delete this. Like, this is, so that should allow you to understand what it is, right? And so then this closes here. So this, in one, we have this. It has an ID of 1, which I don't know if that matters. We have a color, which is 001, and we have a tile name, seeds. Great. Now, the next thing is that, so this object here has 15. 15 is this thing, which is ID 2, color, blah, 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 tile name, tree. Okay, that all looks great. Now we have this ending bracket ends this. So this is, hey, this is our first line. Our first line has 1 and 15, which corresponds to 1 and 15. Okay, that's great. That's totally what we expect. Now, we have a bunch of blanks. Sorry. Occasionally, I like to check my messages in case it's one of my friends who's actually watching and saying something about the stream. Okay, anyway, sorry. So we have this 1 to 15. Where is the closing bracket for that? That's all the way over here. Okay, it looks like something might be wrong here. Oh, okay, yeah, so this is layer 1, right? Yeah, of course. So layer 1 consists of this entire thing, right? Okay, that's great. Layer 1, the first I, consists of this all the way to this. So that doesn't look right. So we've got layer 1, and inside it is this, which then has, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 is this one. And this has our tree and all that fun stuff in it. Okay, so what are we looking at here? So this is an array of all the rows and columns. Okay, so these are 2 items. They're I guess they're, I mean, it could be rows and columns or columns and rows. I believe it's what? Oh, it's 15 down and 16 across, or 16. I don't know which is which, but regardless, it doesn't matter. Oh, actually, let's find out real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Great. If we go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. Okay, so it's 15 tall and 16 across. So this is 15. So as you can see, that was our 1 and 15, the thing at the top and bottom in this. And then these represent our 16 rows. So all these like rows were blank, and then our last row had this stuff in it. So that together represents that. This is, why is that in an array though? That's what I want to know. So something here is just slightly off. Yep, layer 1. So if we look at this, here, we're going to copy this. We're going to put it over here so we can look at it with the code. Okay, so this is our data on the left, and it's going to get passed here. It's going to get map name. Map name was null, which this is one thing that's kind of annoying. It's going to confuse things, is that like map name's not here because it was just null. Likewise, these are all empty because they didn't have anything in them. We didn't put anything on any of these tiles. So they're of course gone. So we go to layers and we want to go to layer 1. Layer 1 consists of this guy. Now we're going to go to I. I is going to start out with 1. That's going to be this guy. 1. And then it's going to go to the J, which is going to be this guy. Huh. So it's interesting because one of the things that could go wrong is if we swapped our rows and columns. But if that were the case, we still put something in the top corner. So at 1, 1, 1, you're still going to get this. So when we go and load our map from data, we go place tile. Is there any reason a place tile would not work? Remove 1, 1. Huh. It's going to place all that stuff where it should, and it's going to create tile group. Huh. You know what? Let's try this. Let's go. So we're going to find out what tiles it's placing. And also, yeah, it's just going to create a tile. There's no reason a tile should not succeed at creating. I want to figure out why that's not happening. I do not want to leave you on a cliffhanger where we have not successfully loaded a file. What did I do wrong here? Probably something with commas. No, looks like I have commas. What does it say? Tile info, a nil value. Oh, okay. Let's just do this. Just trying to figure this out. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to leave you hanging. We should have saving and loading done by the end of this stream, and then next time we will go on to building our more complex map stuff. So look at that, we got all of our stuff. Oh but it is missing things. Like the tile info is not... It's not even getting the tile info in most of these. Why is it not getting the tile info? Oh, so the I and the J are never going to fail. But this data layers blah 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 can totally fail. It's fascinating though that it does. So, the curious thing. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to load the file, we're going to get the loaded data, pass it to load map from data. Now we want to see that it even has this stuff. Okay, so let's try this. Just for starters, we're going to print, just to make sure that that data is correct. And we're also going to not print this because I don't want to spam the logs. Nil. Okay, so now we're on to something. This should have a file name. Oh, maybe we're not. Maybe we're just on to me misspelling something. Oh, I should have given it a shorter name than test1.txt. Okay, got it. File name loaded from the file works. Now you know why we put in a file name. Okay, so layers 1. Now this is interesting. Layers 1 is going to be this. Layers 1 should be this. Okay, let's try that. Let's go 1, 1, 1. See what happens. It actually should just be an object, so it's not going to be really that useful. I'm going to copy this so that I can just paste it in. Nil. Interesting. Alright, let's try 1, 1. Now that got us a table. Let's see if that table has an ID. Nope, that table does not have an ID. Oh, you know what? This would suck. This would suck real bad, but it could be the case. Let's see if it's a difference of a string versus a number. Oh, it is. So here's the thing. This has a number 1 that is a string. See, it's wrapped in the quotes, right? As opposed to a number 1 that is a number, like this guy. So that is unfortunate. So we gotta take a look at why does that happen. So why would that happen? We're going through here and we're saving these as 1, 1. These are numbers. So here's my guess. Because JSON has an array and an object form, right? So this is an object, right? Like this could be an array, and if it were an array, 1 would just be the first element here. So if this were an array, it would be like this. It would have an opening bracket here, and then it would have, of course, like 15 of those empty braces or whatever. Oh, actually, in this case, 1, 1, 1, it would just be this. It would just be that guy. Wait, 1, 1. Yeah. And then it would have 15 empty objects, or 13 actually, whatever. And then it would have this object at the end, right? there's a reason it's not doing that. So let's take a look at that. That might just be the way that the JSON parser works. It might be something that we can help. So we're here. We've got our layers. And we do 1, 1, 1. Yeah, see, I think that it's trying to do some clever you know, cutting out of null, because all these are nil objects, right? So, oh yeah, see, that's what's happening. So in the case that this self layers, this is not an object, it doesn't exist, or it's just like the blank guy, the nil guy, it's not returning data. So we don't have data here for all the empty things. Those just return essentially nil. That is going to be our problem. So let's go look at forest tiles. They should be returning something. Oh, because tile info is nil. Okay, let's try this. Or nil causes it to be empty spaces, so we want to put in something like this. But if we put in an object, what is that going to mean? Tile info is going to come in, and tile info is not really going to be, it's going to try to get the color. Okay, this is probably not going to work. So first, we're actually going to have to save this again. So this is one of those things. If we had a strongly typed language, this would not be a problem, because when you saved it, it would not have a question of whether or not this was an array or an object, and it would definitely know. You'd tell it like, hey, this is an array or this is an object. See, here we go. So by putting in those nils, like, all of these things come with like actual empty data. So it's very clear that there's like empty spaces here, which also means that if we go here, we'll just put some garbage here, and then we go load. But this is the part that's actually going to break. Yes, of course. Line 26 of forest tile, which guarantees line 26 right here. And the reason for that is because now, when it comes in, it's going to get that tile info. That tile info is not null. That tile info is something. That something, though, has no actual data in it. So there's two ways that we could do this. We can either do tile info. Yeah, why don't we just do that? So in the event that tile info isn't anything, so we're going to do or. What this means is if this was null, it's not an object, then it's not going to return this. It'll give you this. I think that'll work in here. I certainly hope it does. We're going to make up a tile info. So if there's nothing there, then we're going to do this tile info, which actually I need to know what a tile info looks like. Give me tile info. Whole forest tile. Create tile group. What is tile group? Display new group. No, that's not what I want. Oh, yes. Here we go. It's down here in place tile. Place tile gets tile info. Ugh, gotta go find it. Place tile. Place tile. Place tile. Here we go. Map. Place tile. Blah, blah, blah. Selected tile. Great. I just have to go through this big hunt. Where the heck is the selected tile? And that's that data. Oh, this is one thing that sucks about Sublime. Well, not the only thing, but one thing that does suck is that because this isn't actually evaluating on this code, we can't like jump to places that are using select tile super easily. Oh, that's weird. So if you hold down the Apple key and you shake, you get this big mouse. I might use that from now on when I'm trying to point something out to you. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Okay, anyway, sorry. I get distracted. So yeah, select tile, which comes from our UI. Ugh. Bulb Builder UI. It's called select tile. It's the item. Where does that item come from? It comes from the placing tile function. Where is this called from? It's gotta be when you click one of these store items, right? So if I go bulb, store item, touch, begin, planting function. Oh my god. This goes back like so far to find our item. Gotta go, it's like our freaking store item that we're placing here. I think that is actually what it is. And the store items come from Bulb Builder settings. Okay, here we go. I think, yeah, here we go. Here's the tile. Okay. So what we want is just to make a default tile that looks like this. We probably need to clean this up at some point so that we don't have to go through this major search to hunt down where that freaking object is. Where were we? We're here in this changed file. Okay, there we go. So there is no tile info. Then what we are going to do is we are going to put ID. Let's put 0. I'm a little worried about that because Lua is not 0 based, but maybe that'll help us. And then we're going to give it the color that was the default color here. Ta-da! Blammo. Technically some of this stuff is no longer useful because we're going to set the fill color no matter what, but for now we're going to save it, see if this worked. Let's go ahead and put some stuff out here. Okay, save. Test 3. Did that work? Yeah, look at all that data. I'm full of it. And now, when we go and load, let's make sure we didn't mess with our load at all. Place tile, we can get rid of this. Yeah, we don't want any of that printing stuff. We don't need to print this either. Now that we've learned this, where the heck? Get rid of that. Forest tile. Mess with anything in forest tile. No, it's safe data. Okay, so tile info or null. We're actually gonna get rid of that because we don't we don't want to save null, but that's fine. It's whatever. Or it's not null. It was an empty object. But anyway, test3.text. Blam. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna go just double check one more time and delete all these files. Close this. Close this. Don't save. Save. There we go. All right, now we're gonna draw a little happy face. Put some random stuff around. We're going to save it. It's test 1. Great. Now here's where I wish I had a clear button, but I don't. So we're gonna just put a bunch more garbage on this. Save it, call this one test 2. save, load, test 1. Hey, look at that. We did it. Now we'll go back and load test 2. Hey, we did it. It's our garbage. Let's go load test 1 again. Awesome. Now let's just for safety's sake, I'm gonna do one that is like very clearly a pattern, because I just realized with the 2 that we just tested that like they easily could have been messed up, and I wouldn't even have noticed because there's too much random garbage in them. This one will very clearly tell us because it has a nice pattern. Okay, there we go. I don't know if that was test 3, but that's okay. Now I'm just going to reload it. Hey, that looks exactly like what we just had. Perfect. So we did it. I'm glad. I did not want to leave anyone hanging. So now you have saving and loading of a map. So imagine that these are, say, walls, and you're just like, I'm going to put up walls to make my puzzle game. And here's all these fancy walls that look like this. And I'm going to make the player start here, and I'm going to put an enemy there, an enemy there. And then I'm going to put some trees around the outside. So now you've got this. Oh, here's the seeds that they got to get by getting through this maze. Now you can build your map. And then, you know, now you just have to make it so that somebody can play in your map. And that's what we're going to do next time. Also, next time, we'll probably go here. If we go to our home, remember we could talk. We can also go back to our garden. Our garden, which we could fill with blueberries and avocados and strawberries, this isn't saved anywhere. So we're probably going to go save this. Maybe, maybe not. Next time, we'll see. I want to get to building up... oh, we got to refresh to get us back there. But building maps and then actually going and interacting with those maps. But we may make a pit stop to save the garden and stuff first. So anyway, I hope that was useful. Remember, like these videos, subscribe on YouTube, etc. If you're watching it there. Follow me on Twitch and on Twitter. Everything that you do to share the videos and stuff that I make helps me get more followers who then I can help teach, and then, you know, I can keep growing a community of people that I'm helping, which would be great. So yeah, go to TylerMakes.com. Oh, look at this. Check out the I don't know how to do it. You gotta like shake it. Still not quite sure how I get it to make the giant cursor. Oh, maybe it's only here. No, I don't know. Anyway, oh, this is already playing. Oh, let's not play that. Yeah, so go check out the site. Follow me on any of these things like Twitter, and you know, share it, pass it around. You know, let people know that it's out there. Because I'd like to see people using these to make games, and then I'd like to see what games you make. So definitely, you know, tell me on Twitter if you're making something. I would love to see it. I love the indie game community. Anyway, that's it. Sorry for the big spiel. Have a great week. See you next week for more of this stuff. All right. See you later.